I can trace our roots on my father's side back to Mississippi, northeastern Mississippi, in a little town called Shuqualak, which was known for the pine industry. And on my mother's side, I can trace it back to Deckard, Tennessee. And in recent history, to my father's father and my mother's father. But that's as far as it goes. And I know that my own history is longer and richer than the 3 generations that I'm able to go back to represents. Without the whole story, you really can't move forward. You're sort of in the middle of the pages trying to figure out what happened and what's going to happen. So to me, the Freedmen's Bureau of Records really brings the bookends together. It gives you the beginnings, at least as far as back as we can go, but it also gives you a guide path for the future. I'm looking at my children and my children's children and even the 10th generation beyond that, and how they will have the ability now to see my history and histories 3 and 4 generations before me that will give them a greater richness about the resilience, the strength, the creativity that my bloodline represents. And I think the personal stories are important, but for me, as someone who works in government, in the federal government, it seems to me that the release of these records will really bring a much greater richness to what it means to be an American. Not only for African Americans, but for everybody. As we begin to patch together and begin to tell the stories of the history of these 4 million people who were released from slavery in 1865, officially in 1863, but in 1865 when the Civil War was declared done, that there is a richness to the story of America that these records will bring forth. Because not only will it be the African American story, but it will be a huge part of the American story that has been missing for many, many years. We will find gems that will help us realize that we come from a line of royalty, that we come from a place of divinity. And the idea that there would be people who would have shared stories back in 1863, some who may have been close to 70, 80, 90 years old themselves, gives me real hope that once these records are indexed, I will be able to track my history back at least another 2 or 3 generations, maybe even further. There is a tangible piece that some people need to help them get through the adversities and the trials of life. And to be able to see that record and to say, yes, there it is. That's going to be pretty exciting.